Paris, Milan, London, New York. Every model dreams of walking just one of these global runways, but today's guest has walked all four. This is Ashley Orr. She's walked countless runways since moving to Arizona, from starting in a small modeling agency in Iowa to now having walked in the world's most prestigious fashion weeks.
This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I really am wanting, and I felt hungry. I was like, I have something to prove.
If you've ever wondered how models go from local shows to international stages, Ashley breaks it all down.
In London, the backstage was very. In Milan, that production backstage.
What would you define as like a strong runway walk?
That's a really good question. So a strong walk to me is, and you never know what the judges are looking for specifically, but you know they're looking for.
So, I mean, first things first, like to start off with just your modeling career. Like, when did you start modeling? How did you get into it? All of that.
Okay, so I was about 22. I was living in Iowa, and I was working at a Longhorn Steakhouse. I was a server, and my friend was a host. She was really involved in photo shoots and fashion shows, and she wanted me to do a local boutique fashion show with her, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not a model. I don't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I had just done this Iowa USA pageant, didn't place. I was a little salty about the whole, like, on-stage presence kind of thing, and I was like, I'm not getting on the runway. That's not me.
What? So that was your first time, like, doing something like that around the modeling terms as pageants?
Yes, but with the pageantry, it was more like on-stage presence, answering questions, the swimwear, evening gown, that kind of thing. But in my head, I didn't think of it as modeling at all. I was like, this is a pageant. I'm trying to get a scholarship. I just have to like look the part and answer the questions and not say world peace too much. And that's what I thought it was. And that's not what pageantry is about at all. That's probably why I didn't place. But anyway, my friend was like, come do this with me. I was like, no. And then she finally wore me down and was like, just please do it. So I was like, fine. And then I got there, and it was really cool. And backstage, there was chaos and parent makeup, and it made me think of being in community theater productions, which I'd been doing like all my life since I was 5. And I was like, okay,
Really?
This is kind of like theater. I like this. And then on the runway, it was so much fun, and there was a big reaction from the crowd. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. I can do this again.
I can do it more.
Yeah.
So was it from theater that you kind of got comfortable with being like on camera or doing all that? Or how did you kind of...
Yes, definitely. Being in theater as a kid really helped with confidence. It definitely gave me the opportunity to explore different characters, and acting those out gave me a sense of like who I was as a person by exploring things, by exploring other people and other characters. It made me feel more confident in who I was and like what parts I liked and what parts I didn't. And I was like, all right, I feel good being myself.
Okay.
So then with modeling, I met a photographer after that first runway show. She wanted me to come do a shoot. And again, I was like, this is how horror movies start. Absolutely not. I'm not doing this. No. But she was like, it's a group shoot. You can bring anyone you want with you. She made me feel really safe. And images from that shoot got published in a magazine. And I was like, oh, like, I can get like paid to do this? Because she was like, yeah, like next shoot, like I want to like pay you. And I was like, okay, how do I keep this momentum going? So I found an agent in Iowa, got signed with that agency, started doing commercial work out there. Then I did a little bit of work in Chicago, and then I moved out to Arizona. And that's kind of the snowball of how that got started.
What was the time frame for that? Like from the time you did the pageant to moving to Arizona? Was that a few years, a few months?
That was like a 3-year.
3-year process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part? Because like once you made it to Arizona, were you like at the point where you're like kind of already established in a way?
Ooh, no. Gosh, no. I was I had done a good amount of commercial work, but I hadn't really done a lot of runway. And that's was the goal of moving to Arizona, was to be closer to LA to do more runway work and more commercial work without fully diving into the LA scene, which kind of scared me.
Why LA, since you're a little bit closer to like or New York or something? Is it because it's...
So I was thinking Phoenix, LA. I wanted to get out of the Midwest cold, first of all.
Yeah.
I was not about all of that. And I just really loved the idea of being out in the desert and going after my dreams out here. So I did, and my first thing was looking at all the different organizations out here in Phoenix that has to do with fashion. And for a year, I just kind of watched. I was a waitress. I watched and saw what I liked, what I didn't like, and then from there, that's where I
were
moved
you
forward.
doing things in between that, or you came to Arizona and for a year you did nothing but really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I wanted to observe and see like where exactly I wanted to be.
That's interesting. So you did almost 3 years of all this commercial work and this and that.
I'd say it was like so 3 years between doing a pageant and actually moving out to Arizona. I'd say I'd probably have like a solid year and a half of like commercial work with my agency up
And
there.
you decided just to like cut that off and just
Kind of. I wanted to see what was going on out here. I wanted to see
before committing to
before really just like jumping in. I wanted to see what photographers were doing good work. I wanted to see what
Gotcha.
organizations were producing good shows. I wanted to see. I wanted to do my research before I aligned myself with anybody.
Very smart of you, honestly. That's
So what
I
was
would've
it?
never thought
So
of
how did you get in contact with that agency? Like,
Yeah.
were you like, I mean, already doing work before then, or did someone recommend it to you? Or?
So I'd been shooting with one of my friends who's a photographer up there, and she was telling me there's only a few really good agencies in Iowa, and of the few, there's one that was really good, and that's the Peak Agency. And so I went with my mom to the Peak Agency. I submitted all my photos. We spoke to Steve, he's the director there, in person, and he made both of us feel really comfortable. And from there, I was like immediately booking jobs, and it was good.
Yeah, I don't. How many like agencies are there in Iowa? Is there like is the scene big out there, or how did you find that in Iowa?
They're just online, but there's not like
just Google search.
right, literally. But there's not a huge fashion scene up there. So the few agencies there are, they really kind of monopolize the like working jobs.
Makes sense.
And then the closest like big city is Chicago, and that's where a lot of up and coming models from Iowa they immediately filter to Chicago. So I was wanting to still work in Iowa because I wasn't done with school yet, and I worked with them.
So what was one of the first like runway shows? Like I mean, you were here in Arizona for a year. Like, what was the first show that you saw that you were like, okay, I want to finally step in and actually try something?
I got involved with Phoenix Fashion Week. I felt like they had the biggest, most polished production out of everything else that I had seen going on out here. And so I applied to be in the Top 40 program. I got into it. And then I went through that whole gamut. And that was the first, like, actual real runway show I'd say I participated in.
Okay. And how did that feel? Because, I mean, Top 40, there's a lot of models that also know what they're doing. They have good, I mean, walks. They know the pose on all that stuff. How were you when you first got there?
I was like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I really am wanting. And I felt hungry. I was like, I have something to prove. I am this like girl from Iowa who started modeling at 22. A lot of people start when they're much younger, like 13 is average. Yeah.
I was gonna ask because at that point, how much experience did you have? Like you're going into top 40 like runway, and you didn't have that much and you had that much confidence going into it.
I would say a healthy amount of confidence and also a little delusion.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. No, I 100% agree. 100%.
But I completely jumped in and was like, all right, I got this.
So is it because of the acting and stuff that you're able to kind of allow a lot of that delusion to kind of help you like move into it?
Somewhat, yeah, but I also believed in myself. Like I knew I could 100%. Do it, and I knew that I was in the right space to make the right connections to like prove that I really could. So that's what I did.
And how well did you do at the runway?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was the experience?
In top 40, I did pretty well. I successfully I kind of like won almost every challenge except for the agency interview one. That one is where they like decide if you're like if they really are interested in having you potentially join their agency. And
Phoenix Fashion Week has an agency?
No. I think they were partnered with the agency Arizona at the time. But basically one of the last challenges with the top 40 when I was participating in it, I can't speak to what they do now, but when I was participating, they would have you meet with an actual agent in the Valley, and they would interview you
as part of the show or the runway thing?
As part of the Top 40 experience.
Okay.
It's kind of like America's Next Top Model, where there's different challenges.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so there's like a headshot challenge, there's a group photo challenge, there's a runway challenge, there's
is this multiple
social
days
media
type of thing, or is it
It's
all
like
in
a-
one day?
It goes
It's
on
like a
for
whole
months.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer?
Yeah.
You gotta really like commit
Yes.
to Phoenix Fashion
It's
Week
a whole
for sure.
production. Yeah.
Damn, I was like, oh, weekend kind of thing, a whole.
Yeah, because I
it's
mean,
a
you
big time
gotta
commitment.
find the people to help
Yep.
put your vision together on the photo shoots, or if they, I think now they have like video challenge or something like that.
They've
so.
got to have. Yeah, they had a video challenge when I was doing it too. We did kind of like a music video thing. It was
Oh,
fun. Yeah.
That's dope.
But sorry, I cut
No,
you
no,
off.
you're fine.
The agency thing you were explaining.
Yes, I didn't pass that. My measurements at the time were not quite what they were looking for, and that's totally okay. Agents have all their
Like
different
specifics that they
requirements or
want.
specific needs. They have brands they work with. It's never a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did not win that. But moving on to like the actual runway shows, that was exhilarating. It was a lot of fun. I loved being able to work with all the different designers and be a part of something bigger than myself and like really execute what I'd been dreaming of.
Nice. How many
Yeah.
shows did you or people did you walk for when that first show?
Ooh, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know it was like 5 or 6, I think.
Oh, dang,
Because there's
okay.
like different nights. And so each
Okay.
night I had a few different designers I was walking for. So there's a lot of quick changes, a lot of chaos backstage.
So how many walks, I guess, is that what you call it? Like how many, like you said every day it would be something like how
Yeah.
many walks are you doing or laps or
It
whatever
depends-
the terminology is.
The laps.
I don't know.
I did a few laps on the runway.
Let me warm up real quick.
We should call it that. It is a lap because
It
you're
is,
going
because
back
you're
and
going
forth.
back-
Yeah.
Honestly, like, come on.
So it depends on how many designers select you to walk for them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember how many people I walked for that first Phoenix Fashion Week. I know I had a few each night, so like I'd say 2, 3 each night. And
Okay.
sometimes it would be runways like back to back. So I'd be walking for one designer, immediately off the runway, change them, and the next designer's lineup ready to go as
Gotcha.
the first show is still doing their closing. You cannot be a part of the closing walk if you're in the next show. So they just have
Oh,
you
because they don't want you like
Gotcha.
slowing it everyone down
exactly
or something like that.
Pacing
Gotcha.
has to keep
Gotcha.
at the right pace.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's blowing my mind. That's crazy.
It's a
'Cause,
lot.
Yeah, I was about to- the fact that you said it's a summer, I was just like, a summer of
Yeah,
like
Phoenix Fashion
all
Week
these
really.
different things?
Yeah, they have like a whole procedure that the people go through for that top 40. So it's like a pretty big deal once it actually comes
Sounds like
to.
a-
At least
like-
from
sounds
what
like
I
a
think,
TV
is it
show.
still
Yeah.
like I don't know. I haven't filmed that Phoenix Fashion Week yet, so I don't know how it works out for them. But-
I'm sure it's different now than it was before, but it was a big deal to me back then. And
Yeah, and I mean it helped on your career
Oh,
too. What was the
absolutely.
next
it was
piece
a
after
huge,
that?
huge stepping stone. So
Yeah.
part of one of the biggest impactful things for me with Phoenix Fashion Week was meeting Christina Dar. She's a designer that I work with to this day.
Okay.
I work really closely with her now, and
Mm-hmm.
at one of the shows, I was not originally selected for her, but I was backstage kind of like lingering because I wanted to see if I could like get into her show if she needed an extra
Make some
person.
connections.
Right, and she did. She was telling one of the show producers, like, I have no one like to wear this dress. A model dropped out. Something happened, and I just happened to be back there. And I was like, I don't have any more designers I'm walking for. If you need someone, I'm happy to see if it fits. And she was like, okay, let's do
It's
it.
like what a coincidence.
Right. Oh, but I dropped my hair tie. I just happened to be here. But I walked for her, and she liked that I had like offered and was trying to like
I
hustle.
had the confidence of
Yeah.
like going up to the designer and be
Yeah.
like, let me walk on your show.
Right,
Yeah.
and her designs are amazing. They are the most extravagant, beautiful designs I've ever worn, and I was absolutely like obsessed with walking for her. And I was like, I wasn't immediately selected, but I'm gonna find a way into this. And the worst thing she can say is no, so I'm just gonna keep going.
I respect
Right.
that.
What show was
Yeah.
that one? That was still
was-
Phoenix Fashion Week?
Yes, that was Phoenix Fashion Week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I know she was also doing, after that one, she might have done the Arizona Fashion
She
Week
did.
at the
Yes.
Chateau.
Yes.
Or Chateau?
Don't ask me, brother. I don't know.
Chateau? I think it's Chateau.
Chateau de Vie.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, because I remember that one very vaguely too, but I remember she had some super nice sparkly dresses.
Oh my goodness, yes. Everything she does is handmade. She has like the best, like her sketches are incredible, and then she creates this amazing couture garment. And sometimes they're really heavy, sometimes they're just like flowy and beautiful, but she always makes the female form look amazing with every model she has wearing her stuff.
Like, how many actual shows have you walked in now? Because I remember when we talked at the event, you were saying that you did the big four, where it's like the main kind of four. Let's get into kind of that now.
Can you explain to me what the big four is? I don't know what the big four is.
So it's okay. So in the fashion industry, the big four, when you're talking about runway, are New York, London, Milan, and Paris. And each city kind of has their own vibe and their own personality, but all of them like kind of work together to show what the new like designs that are coming forward, new trends, everything like that. So with New York, it's more trend focus and energetic, and you're gonna have things happening all over the city. In London, it's more experimental and like creative. I'd say Milan is more glamorous and polished. You're gonna see a lot of like the really high-end brands showing there. I mean, they show all over the world, but Milan is like
mainly known,
like And then Paris is like couture city. It's so beautiful out there. And
couture, could you like go a little bit? What is that? What do you mean by that?
That was my next question.
Couture is like handmade again, but I would say like high-end like designer like couture out there. So you're gonna have like one pieces from like Dior or like Chanel or YSL, things like that.
So you're aiming for that's like the thing to be modeling and like
to get into
that. That's like top echelon. Like
How did you end up getting those?
I've never come close to those. I've never walked for those designers. I'll say that. I've walked for smaller shows in those cities that were on the official Fashion Week schedule. So yes, I can say I've done the big four. But I haven't done it at the level of like Gigi Hadid. Like that's there's levels.
There's levels
I'm not there.
Right? God, no, that's crazy because I always have the fashion stuff on theirs, but. It's crazy some of these events that they do in like Milan or London, like they make them like a big experience, super nice. So no, I'll be looking forward to the day that I get to fucking film one of those for sure.
But
I just want to show up to one of those, honestly.
Dude,
like, those things look.
How did you get involved with it? Like with all those shows, like how did you get your entry?
So I submitted to different production companies, mostly through Instagram, and I would send a video of my walk. I would send headshots. I would send videos of prior runway shows, and I got cast. And then it was up to me to buy a ticket and fly out.
Dang.
So you got to do all that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, who did you meet out there? Like, who was the people that you kind of got connected with, and how did you find your way around the shows?
Okay. So depending on like which productions I was working with, I would be staying in a hotel kind of close to like where their home base would be, where you would meet with the other models coming in from other countries. And then from there, they would be like, all right, here's your call times. This is where you need to be. This is the backstage entry area. These are your badges so that like people know you're a model and you're not just like some random trying to get backstage. And I just followed all their directions. I got connected with photographers, designers out there. I loved being a part of it. And it's different cities have different like chaos backstage, but it all ended up really, really cool.
Right.
Sorry, we're gonna do this all day long.
Right? No, you can go.
So they're organized differently? Like, because you did say like they have like different kind of like the whole New York and stuff like. So like, what is like a big difference or like that you would notice being in the backstage?
So every production is different, but what I noticed personally was that in London, the backstage was very, very organized, as type A as you can possibly be. Like we had a very designated area for like hair and makeup, and then that did not bleed into where people were trying to like try on clothes and to get ready to.
Everyone had their own section, and you stay in your section.
Very sectioned off.
Gotcha.
And then in Milan, that production backstage, that everything was very close together. It was a much smaller venue, so everything was kind of all over the place back there. There'd be like hair and makeup like over here, but then maybe someone would be having like their hair curled as they would be like being fitted for an outfit or something, and
everyone's just bumping into each other.
It's a lot.
chaos.
Yeah, but you have to be used to that. You have to be okay with that. You have to like find a spot to be. Hopefully there's an outlet nearby to charge your phone, and like you just have to like
fast-paced.
it's very fast paced. Yeah.
Do you have a preference in between like one of those type of shows? Do you like the more organized kind of like?
I do. I do like the more organized. It's just calmer backstage then. I never have to worry like, oh my gosh, where's this? Where's that? What's happening? Where am I going? All of that. Yeah, but there's also like an adrenaline rush you get from that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like I like the chaos from it just because like you're kind of like pumped and you're like
it's fun.
You kind of don't know what's going to happen next.
You still get that with an organized show, but it's less stressful. It's like going on a roller coaster and like you're gonna be fine when you get off and like, oh, this is still exciting. It's still really fun versus going on a roller coaster where it's like, hey, we don't know if it's gonna like
break apart.
Yeah, exactly. That's still exciting, but it's different.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how's like the difference between like the actual shows, like the themes up until like your walk? Like, do you have to like walk a different style for each show, or how does the difference go?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So that depends on the designer's preference. Every designer has their own vision, their own style, their own vibe. If they have you in a ball gown, they might want you walking more slowly, more elegantly down the runway. They might have you do a bit of like a horseshoe turn at the end of the runway where you're not like spinning around quickly. You're like elegantly walking all the way around so that the gown like trails behind you the right way.
Gotcha.
Because if you turn too fast, then the fabric is going to bunch up. So you have to be mindful of how the clothing is falling on you and the stage if it's touching the stage.
Wow. So are some designers very strict about it? Where like if you do not do it their way, they're like take off my clothes. You're never doing this for me again.
Yeah. Yes, some are like that.
Really? Wow.
Absolutely. It's about being respectful of their artwork. That's what it is.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it like
they've worked really hard at creating this masterpiece that they want to share with others and hopefully market and like sell and make more of. Yeah. And if you aren't handling their art the way it needs to be shown, then why should you wear it? Why should you be the one to do it? There's a lineup of models.
That
every casting is huge that
Mm-hmm.
are going to do it the right way without being told twice. So if once you have the opportunity, that's up to you to not fumble the ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Dang. So which like how do you kind of
right, back to your question.
Yeah,
yes.
How do you do that for each runway? Like,
I talk to the designer. I see what I'm wearing because pieces can vary across a collection. And I think, okay, is this something like I've worn before? What did I do last time I had a garment that was structured this way? I talked to the designer about what kind of music are we going to have? What's the style of walk you're looking for? Are you wanting edgy? Are you wanting dramatic? Are you wanting elegant, slow? Are you wanting like fun, like 90s spins, like halfway down the runway? And I just ask them what they want because it's their show. And as much as like I am myself and I have my own personality, like with my walk, I need to showcase their clothes because that's the whole point of being there.
We talked with Sebastian. He does a lot of pageants, and like we talked to him about the difference between those two, and he's saying how pageantry is more like authentic. It's about the personality of the person, and then fashion is more like a clothing hanger for the clothes. Like you want to make sure what you're wearing is actually like how you explained it, like like perfect on the runway. So but
absolutely, you are a clothes hanger.
Yeah, no, that's. It's crazy to think about because I remember I seen some shows that the clothes are just crazy, like the amount of jewelry they have on, or it's like a big like I don't know shoulder pieces that they have, or like the big dresses.
Yeah,
so it's
like
crazy.
Intricate construction can really add a lot of like dimension to a runway show. But I think that you just have to think about what you're wearing and practice walking in that thing. You never want to walk for the first time putting on a garment. Sometimes you have to. And so you have to adapt and be like, all right, I know what I'm going to do, and just like quickly practice backstage.
Gotcha.
But you just have to really be adaptable.
Did you learn all those walks just through the experience of walking at other shows, or did you kind of like know some of the walks beforehand?
I had an idea of some of the walks beforehand. Like when someone says, I want you to walk elegantly, like I have an idea of what that means, but every designer, that's going to mean something different. It's subjective. So I will show them what I've got, and then I take any tweaks and criticism because, again, it's their show. That's how they want me to do it.
Do you typically get a lot of time with the designers for them to, like, kind of walk you through what kind of walk you want to do, or is it kind of sometimes it's just, like, good luck kind of scenario?
It varies. It varies a lot. And sometimes the designer is going to address the group of models versus like one-on-one interactions.
Gotcha.
And so they'll say, hey guys, I really want all of you to be like really robotic or militaristic with this. I want you guys to be like more edgy, stomping, like if it's a streetwear brand, something like that. They'll let you know how they want you to be. And if they don't let you know, then that's important for the model to take that initiative and say, hey, I want to showcase your work the way you want it to be shown. How do you want me to walk for you?
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you practice. And if they say that's not it, then you adjust.
Right?
Yeah.
You better adjust quick.
Yep.
How do you practice? Like, what is some of like the message you do to keep yourself like in the flow of just knowing how to model?
Practicing in different shoes. So practicing in a stiletto versus a block heel versus flats versus sneakers versus wedges. There's so many different types of shoes that you might be thrown into. And sometimes designers will say, hey, bring your own shoes, that's fine. Or they're gonna come with suitcases full of shoes and be like, what size are you? I've got it here. You're gonna wear this. And so you need to be prepared as a model to be able to balance and look good walking with almost anything under your feet.
What's like the worst thing to walk in?
I'd say the hardest thing to walk in is a stiletto with no platform under the toes.
Where it's like very thin at the bottom?
Yes. So if these are like your toes, and then there's like a block kind of under here that cushions you, so that makes it easier to walk.
Gotcha.
And then a stiletto being just kind of a straight like line.
type.
Yeah.
Oh, like very,
like very thin, just like.
I have some over here actually, but it's just a super thin heel, and
Gotcha.
that's harder to walk in because you have to balance on such a small area.
Yeah.
But then a block heel, that's way easier to walk in. So for me, I really put a lot of emphasis on learning to walk in stilettos and walking really well in stilettos.
Is there a trick to walking in stilettos that
Yes.
would help people?
Yes, absolutely. For me, I rotate from my pinky toe to my big toe. So when it's heel toe, so heel first and then toe, but I don't just flatten my foot down. I rotate pinky to big toe.
Oh, I get
like
what
like
you're
a
saying.
little
I get
like
what you're
rotate
saying.
there. So then I have time to be like, all right, boom, boom. If that makes
I see.
sense.
Yeah.
It's very slight,
You know
but it
what's
makes a difference.
So funny about that. It reminds me of like when we played soccer, bro. So like one of my coaches was big on like staying on your toes kind of thing, but it was very uncomfortable for me. So like that transition you're talking about of instead of going like straight like this, more laying out because I have wide feet. So that's crazy that you explained that and I just got that flashback. That's so funny that. I can probably walk really well in heels. Then that's probably what
You're saying we're gonna have to test that out, bro. Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
So, what's one of your favorite shows that you've been a part of? Like, let's say, kind of going off from the big four, just things that have been here in Arizona. What's some of the most fun shows that you've been a part of?
Gosh, my absolute favorite show that I've been a part of was through Arizona Fashion Week at Chateau de Vie, walking for Christina Dare. That was very special to me because not only was I walking for one of my best friends and favorite designers, but I was also wearing things that I had like spoken to her about when she was in the construction process. So like I had kind of had a front row seat from like fabric store to actual garment walking. And that was amazing. The location was beautiful. And I also was part of helping her select her models. I assist her from time to time. And so she's like, you know the people in this area best. She doesn't live in Arizona. She's like, I want you to kind of like give me options. I didn't like stamp like yes or no on people, but I was like, I think this array is going to be the best. What do you think? And then we went from there. Yeah. So I was like very involved in the show.
You were
and I
part
got
of
to
the
walk
process.
it.
Yeah. How did that feel? Like almost like your show too. Like you're like that's a piece of your show since you were like
no, I wouldn't say that
behind the scenes of it.
Just like the sprinkling on top, you know.
I felt really like proud to be a part of it and to be a part of the production as a whole. Because with Arizona Fashion Week, I was coordinating the models for other designers at that time as well. So it wasn't just Christine's show. I was coordinating with other designers, but Christine's show is when I got to walk into. So
it felt extra special.
Yes, yeah. I just felt really like honored and proud and just kind of full circle from like pretending to drop my hair tie to like kind of like running things backstage. And I was like, wow, like this is my life. This is so cool. So that's always going to have a really special memory for me.
It's really cool. And that was in Arizona, you said?
Yeah. I was in Chandler, Chateau de Vie. It's a wedding venue now, but we actually got to stay at that property, which was really cool. So
it's a crazy property.
It's insane.
So what was like the next piece out? So like you've had a lot of experience through Phoenix Fashion Week, and then you went to Arizona Fashion Week right after that, or kind of where was that process after Phoenix?
I had walked for some local smaller productions and then bigger productions as well. I went out to LA, did LA Fashion Week with Heart's Fashion. The very first Arizona Fashion Week, I was a part of that. And so I'd say that was the next big Arizona show I was part of. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was kind of all over the place in between.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been helping them out with their videos since like 2022.
Yeah.
I think that's when they started, or 2021 when they started, but
something like that.
Yeah, like they're definitely also one of the people that like started doing it a little bit differently than everybody else. So I feel like a lot of them are kind of not copying, but like also now doing all these like events and like better venues, better runway, like the runways. So
yeah,
it's really changing a lot too.
It elevates the whole Arizona fashion community because when they see one production company or one group really like doing something different and going above and beyond, it inspires other people to do the same, and that just lifts everyone up, and it puts Arizona on the map because it's not just going to take one organization to make New York Fashion Week, right? New York Fashion Week is composed of so many different moving parts throughout the city, throughout different production companies. So if we want to get on that level, then we need to have multiple organizations thriving at the same time.
Let's say you're going to New York Fashion Week. Like, what does that first day look like, and how do you kind of prepare for the next days to come?
Okay. So my ideal like New York Fashion Week kind of schedule would be fly in a day before, get settled, make sure my hotel exists, and you know, like
you got some place to sleep.
Has it sometimes not existed?
Right. Kinda. So then the next day I would make sure I have all my call times ready to go. I would have my like prep skin, hair, all of that to be ready to go into the show. And then there I would get to the venue. I'd make sure that I had checked in with all the appropriate channels, and then kind of follow the directions that all the other models are being like herded into, like, okay, like you guys go check out the runway while you guys start hair and makeup, then you switch, get fitted for your garments, make sure you're ready to go, and be there, hurry up and wait until it's my turn to go on the runway. And then I would make sure I'm all cleaned up, pack up, go home, and then take off all the makeup, wash all the product out of my hair, because the next day you're going to be walking for entirely new designers, and you're going to have new makeup, new hair, new everything. So you have to have a clean slate, essentially.
So it's like nonstop.
Yes.
For the weekends.
And then
really?
Also, like going out, you have to be mindful about like how much you are enjoying the night, if you understand me. Because the next day you don't want to be puffy, you don't want to be hungover, you don't want to have consumed something that's going to make you feeling ill.
Yeah.
Because your priority is to perform, and you can't perform if you party too much.
Is it a very common thing for a lot of models and stuff like that to party, or is it very like low key, kind of like they?
It depends on where you are, who you're with, and like what is kind of expected of you.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, everyone just needs to be responsible. We're all adults for the most part. I mean, there's some like underage people modeling, but like their parents should be taking care of them. But you just have to be responsible with your choices and do like the right thing that's gonna help you succeed. And if you think having like a few drinks with someone and relating to them and like making those connections is going to help you, that might help you. That might be a good thing to do, because then you're making like that memory with them that they're not going to have with other people. Now, am I saying go like shot for shot and like get crazy? No, you have to be responsible, but you have to feel it out and decide what's going to be the right choice for you as a model. No matter how like relaxed you think the setting is, someone is always watching you. Always. And that's not like in like a creepy way. It's not it might be a weird way, but I mean, someone is seeing you and someone is having an impression of you, and that might lead to you missing an opportunity in the future. And so for me, I don't want to conduct myself in a way that would lead to missing an opportunity. So I say respectful, proper, and like I have
just
fun.
Having a good
night.
I
have fun, but I don't have too much fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
So like, let's talk about like when you go into castings. Like, how is the difference between going into like a casting here, like in Arizona, or just a place where you've casted before, compared to like a new casting where like you don't know the people there, it's like a whole new place?
Yeah.
How do you kind of differentiate those?
With castings in Arizona, I always feel really like familiar with who's gonna be there for the most part. There's always familiar faces. There might be some new like judges, there might be new people like who are assessing you, but for the most part, I'm gonna be in line with people I already know. I'm gonna be seeing familiar photographers, videographers, and there's like a sense of just like, hey, like this is my home. Whereas when I've casted in New York, that is a completely different ball game. You have to like run to like different places, catch the subway, hope you're not late, wait in line, stay in a stairway without air conditioning. Like the people, you don't know anybody, and then you finally get up there, and you're gonna have judges who might just look you up and down and say like next, like no, like that, and you've spent all that time just
has
for
that.
that.
Happened to you?
Yes, it has.
No way.
Yes,
it
it
just
has.
like
What does
what?
that feel like?
It sucks. It sucks, but I mean,
Holy damn! Like,
yeah.
What's the mentality? I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you remember, but like,
Yeah.
what was that like? Like, like, what you did after that? Like,
So I'm not gonna lie. Like initial reaction, I was pretty
baffled?
No, I wasn't baffled because I had an idea because like
knowing him and like how he kind of.
No, I had an idea that like I might very well be rejected for this because for me personally, my measurements are not that of a typical runway model.
Gotcha. Okay.
So going into it, I already know that like I'm going up against that. So there's a chance I'm gonna be rejected, which is fine. But if I don't go, I'm never gonna know.
Yeah.
So I go, and initially I was like, oh, like this sucks because I spent all this time trying to get here. I waited in line, like I printed my comp cards, like I have everything ready just for a no. But I know that most rejection isn't personal. It's, hey, I've got these designers and their clothing fits this range of measurements. And looking at you right now, I already know it's not going to fit. And that's all it is. It's not like, oh, like you're ugly, I hate you. Like that's not what it's about. Yeah. It's just like that's just not objectively going to work. Or maybe they were seeing something about my walk that they didn't like. Maybe like I had been putting too much weight on my right ankle, waiting in the stairwell, and then it didn't look quite as right. You
like
know,
very
it could be
small
anything.
things like that can change a lot.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And you never know what the judges are looking for specifically, but you know they're looking for confidence, they're looking for rhythm, they're looking for posture, they're looking for being able to just like carry yourself in a way that is interesting visually. Because if you're boring, they've got a lineup of other people who aren't. So you have to. So really bring it.
In a casting, do you have that same kind of knowing of what kind of walk you're needing to do, or is that more of like a freestyle, like depending on your research of the person,
right?
Or exactly, or how to?
That's a good question. So when I'm casting at just like a brand new casting, I don't know what designers they are having me walk for. So I kind of have like my general casting walk, which is like a baseline walk. And then, of course, I hear out the music, and I'm like, all right, they have this kind of EDM music. Like,
so
I'm gonna,
like on the flow.
I'm gonna walk like to the beat of this. Like, I'm gonna feel the vibe of the music, and I'm gonna kind of tweak my baseline walk to work with that. Whereas if the casting is like, okay, this is like for a ball gown designer, we're gonna play this classical music. We want to see how like elegantly and like poised you can walk. Then I'm like, all right, like I know I'm gonna switch my vibe for that. So you just have to kind of be like ready for what they throw at you. And then if the music stops or it cuts out or they don't even have music, then I think of like the Lady Gaga romance song. I'm like, and I'm like, funny. Then I got it in my head. Then that's my
got that rhythm right.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
That's your go-to.
That's my go-to song in my head. Yeah, it probably dates me, but it's fine.
Is that what you listen to like just before you get off the runway, or what is like one of your playlists? Yeah, like what do you?
I love that.
Ooh, playlist is like that. It changes up for me when I'm practicing runway walks, but basically it just needs to have a really good beat. And that beat, I want it to be like a little bit faster for like edgier designers, a little bit slower for more elegant ones. But I have a wide range of music in there just so I can kind of be prepared for anything.
I don't know if this is a little bit off topic, but do you tend to have like specific music? Like if you know there's like a show coming up or whatever, like you'll listen to only that type of music, or is it only like near the actual like show time, kind of where you put yourself in that music mentality?
Before a show, I will talk to the designer if they have music like pre-selected.
Oh, wow, okay.
And if they have a song pre-selected, I'll listen to that song and I'll walk to just that song. So then I'm ready to go with that. Okay. If they don't have music selected, then I just kind of listen to like all the things and I'm just like ready then.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you get prepared for a show? Like, do you have your own training, or like do you get help from a coach, like a model coach, or like how did you kind of start learning the process of it?
So way back when I first started getting into modeling, I was told that I didn't have like the right like measurements, and that I either needed to lose a ton of weight and get like really, really fit, or I needed to gain more weight and become a plus size model. And
That's what they told you?
yes, because I was in the middle. They were like, we can't market you. We need you to like be
One or the other.
super skinny, or gain more weight, which is like muscle, not necessarily just like
Yeah.
But that was my choice, and so I was like, all right, I want to get toned up. I want to get more fit anyway. So I went down that route. And when I was doing that, I started following a coaching program for models. There's a guy on Instagram, I forget what his name is now, but he coached Victoria's Secret models, and I was like, well, I want to look like that, so I followed his coaching program. Then I kept a lot of those workouts like to this day, and I work out, I eat properly, I make sure that I'm not doing like too much like carbs, just like things that like make me bloat. It's different for everybody, but I try to make sure that I'm being mindful of like portions, never starve myself, but I'm just a lot more on it than I usually am. I'm usually just more intuitive eating. If I eat when I'm hungry. But
now you kind of know just what you can and can't eat, or how much.
If I know I'm going to be in something that's like really like cinched in, then I'm like, all right, I really got to watch this. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have like a meal routine now for like fashion, for like when you have fashion weeks, like a whole 3 days, 4 days, like you kind of know what you should be eating, or how do you kind of decide on?
I generally, no, I don't have like a really strict regimen. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I just eat like raw chicken and veggies. I don't do that. But,
no, like burgers or like.
No, I'll eat a burger, but like it's just like the one burger. Like I'm not gonna eat a burger every day. Like one day I can have a burger, but I'm not gonna like keep doing that. You know?
Yeah.
It's all about like portion size for me, and then like staying hydrated and staying active.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be like really crazy about it, and that got exhausting. So I feel like mentally and physically, I feel healthier doing it this way.
Yeah, because you're not constantly stressing about this or that or this or that. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Sick. God damn.
So how often? Dude, it's a lot of work. Like people don't even think about it.
Like all the meal prepping and all this. I'm like, God damn, that's so much work.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into it. Well, so what about when you go to like a commercial shoot or editorial shoot? How do you kind of prepare for those ones?
Ooh, okay. So depending on what the commercial shoot is for, I'll prepare differently. Like if it's makeup commercial, then I'm really on my skincare, and I'm also practicing more expressions in the mirror. And then with that, I might have like my mirror here, and I'll have my phone set up here, and I'll just hit record on my phone while I'm practicing the expressions. And I mean, I look psycho, but then I'll go and like review like what I was doing in the mirror, and I'm like, all right, it feels like this when I'm making this face, but this is how it looks when I'm making this face. And so that muscle to image connection there.
Is that hard to learn?
A little bit. It just kind of depends on like what you're doing exactly, because like some people think like this is a good smile, and it's like it actually looks crazy. So you have to like think about how it feels to how it looks. That way, when I'm in front of a camera, I don't need to be looking at like another screen to be like, okay, that looks good, or a mirror to be like, all right, like I'm doing the right thing. I just know how it's coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's actually really interesting, because I've had that thought where you kind of like think you have a certain like facial expression, and then you like pass by a mirror and you're like,
oh
no.
Yeah,
like, oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, editorial, that one's more like a lot more makeup, or like the hair look. How do you kind of like, what's the difference between that one compared to the commercials?
So usually with editorial, if it's a more like professional production, they're going to be sending you a mood board. They're going to be sending you, okay, these are like the hair inspo looks we're doing. This is the makeup inspo. And I know, okay, like if they are going to be teasing my hair up that much, like they're probably going to need my hair to have some product in it and be like 2-day like dirty hair. And so then I might not wash my hair that day. Versus if they're like, this is a wet look, we want you to be slicked back. I'm like, oh, I can wash my hair then, because they're just going to be like gelling it anyway. So based off of the mood board and whatever prep that they have already done in pre-production, then from there I know how I'm going to conduct my personal prep to get ready for it. If there's crazy poses, I'm going to be doing more yoga and like stretching and being like ready for that, so I don't like pull a muscle on set. I make sure I'm taking care of my skin.
Well, how long did that take to learn that from like that first, let's say that, like you're just starting in that up to like now when you know everything that you need to do to get ready for that? How long was that process?
I'd say I felt pretty good about it after like my first like year, because I was trying to shoot with so many different people when I was first starting out modeling that I was like, all right, some people are really prepared, some people are really on the fly, and I just need to be adaptable and like ready for everything. And so if I'm going to be ready for everything, that means I need to do my homework and like prep myself too. And if the photographer isn't giving me a mood board, but they've told me, hey, we're doing like this Victorian kind of theme, like we have like this dress you're gonna wear, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do my own research and go on Pinterest and kind of put myself in that mindset and vibe. And I wouldn't be like bringing a mood board to them, be like, this is what I did. I would just be like, I feel more prepared doing this. I'd say it took me about a year to kind of figure out my own method for that.
Yeah, okay. So like, yeah, I'm sure you have like a model bag with you when you take from shoot to shoot. Like, let's say, what do you have in your model bag? What do you need to prepare for that?
So it depends on the shoot, of course, but my go-to items I always have are heels, nude and black, open toe, and closed toe. So that's 4 pairs of shoes.
Ooh, okay.
That's just the shoes.
Yeah.
Fashion tape is going to be good because you don't know. Fashion tape is double-sided tape. And so if depending on like
fabrics or
so depending on what you're wearing, you might have something that's more flowy and you don't want it to be flowy. So if I want it to like stick to myself in a certain way, so as to like not reveal anything, then that's good to have. And some stylists will have that, some won't, but it's good to always just have that myself.
I love how tape is universal. I love it so much.
Yep, gotta love tape. I bring my makeup with me because sometimes there's a makeup artist that will do everything for you, but they might not have your exact foundation shade. So then I have my makeup ready to go. Or maybe they're doing someone else's makeup and they don't have time to do me. So then I have to go do it myself. It's always good to have makeup. And then if the makeup artist has to leave or if they're done doing their thing and they're offset and we need a touch up, then I have that prepared, ready to go. Same with hair products, brush, hairspray, gel, anything specific they ask you to bring, I bring that in the bag. Like maybe they're like, hey, if you have combat boots, bring those combat boots. I'll be like, all right, then I'll bring those. Maybe they're like, hey, we need to have you bring like your own like white tube socks or something if we're doing like an athletic shoot. And I'll be like, all right, I have that. I'll bring my own socks.
Oh. So what's like one of your favorite parts of that whole process? Like you're at a fashion week. What are you looking forward to the most?
What I'm looking forward to the most, like when it's runway, is taking like that first step onto the runway. For me, that's really exciting, and it's like the culmination of like all the prep, all the work, working with so many different artists, hairstylist, makeup artist, stylist, production coordinator, like everyone coming together, and that you take that step and you're like, all right, this is it. This is like, I'm the final puzzle piece, and I'm gonna make it shine for everyone who's put so much work into this together, and then you go and do it, and you get great photos and videos afterwards, and it's a good feeling of achievement. Yeah.
No, and it looks super awesome. Like, I mean, I've seen your walk so many times, and it just looks amazing.
Thanks.
So, no, like some of the, what's like one of the most extravagant outfits that you've worn where you're like when you see that, you're like, this is my favorite, like one that I've walked in.
Oh gosh. I would say it would have to be one, like anything I've worn with Christina Durr, like her work is probably the most extravagant that I've worn on a consistent basis. There was one outfit I wore from For the Stars Fashion House with Phoenix Fashion Week that there's a crazy one there. It was like this big, extravagant like neck piece. It was really crazy.
Is it hard to get into something like that? How long did it take them to like put you in that?
With that one probably took like maybe 10 minutes. Sometimes if there's like a corset and like we're actually doing like the full corset, it's not like a zip corset, it's like a string or like a, not string, like a ribbon like corset, that can take a while too because you're having to feed everything in.
Is there ever like clothing that you have to have on and then the makeup because of the way they're
I like to bring like a robe with me or like a large like button up like shirt because then I can be in that kind of like a smock, so like they can do like hair and makeup, so and then if there's makeup flying, like powder flying, it's not going to get on my personal clothes or the garment. Then when I go to change later, all I have to do is just like take off the robe, put on the outfit, and then it.
Smart.
Easy, and it's comfy.
I mean, through all the shows that you walked in, like what would you define as like a strong runway walk?
That's a really good question. So a strong walk to me is one with a lot of confidence, and you're showcasing the garments in a way that isn't distracting from them. a strong walk is powerful. You are moving on beat. You are keeping a good expression on your face, and you're not doing anything too crazy, like with your arms or posing. So I think like posture, confidence, rhythm, all of that, like what judges are looking for, I think bringing all of that to the stage is really, really important.
Yeah. How long did it take you to figure out that for yourself? Like the style of walk that you walk, like how long did it take you to figure that out for yourself?
That I'd say probably took about like 2 years about.
You like switching like different walking styles or like what was it that?
For me, it was like practicing walking enough. And after doing like 2 or 3 shows, that's not enough to say that like you got it or you're perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm still not perfect, still learning. But for me, about 2 years of like really consistently working on that is when I felt my most confident. And I was noticing that I was never like not getting like booked for something like for like a span of time there. And I was like, all right, like I feel really good about my performance.
What does that process look like? Like developing your walk? What is that?
Just a lot of practice. Setting up a phone camera so I can watch myself, review how I looked, playing different types of music, wearing different types of shoes, walking on different types of textured floor, because walking on carpet is different from walking on wood, which is different from walking on cement, which is different from walking on like a smooth, like indoor, like plasticky, like vinyl surface. And then the types of like shoe that you're wearing, the underneath part of your shoe might slide differently on different types of floor. So just
there's
really
so much more than I was expecting.
Preparing for all of that, right? Because I mean,
you really never know what material or whatever.
You gotta be ready for all of it.
Yeah, because I remember the Chateau one. That one's like kind of paver, like paver's going all around. So like it's if you're wearing like a really thin stiletto, like. Did you guys wear thin stilettos for that show?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, like that one.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, because like the flooring wasn't level, like it was paver, so like it was all like whatever.
So we were partially indoor and outdoor for that. Where the audience was all outdoor, but we were lined up inside.
Okay.
So inside we had to be able to like maneuver around each other backstage on like wood floor. And then we had to transition to outside where then we were on cement and brick and like paver, and it changed depending on what part of the runway we were on. There's this big, beautiful circle driveway, and we had to walk on that, which wasn't perfectly even everywhere, and then go off under to a garage area. It was like a bridge garage. It was really cool.
How long was the
runway?
Yeah, it's a pretty long runway.
It was a big runway. It was a big outdoor venue. That was one of the most like immersive, like experiential runways the Arizona Fashion Week did when they were first starting out.
So I'm assuming they give you practice on the runway?
Yes.
Okay. How much time beforehand do you use typically? I know it's be slightly different but.
So when I was managing the models for that show, I was having groups come out and work probably like for like 20 minutes or so practicing that runway. An actual runway show might be like 5 minutes long or maybe 10 minutes long if it's a really big lineup of garments, but having them out there feeling out the
flooring
the turf,
and all that
basically,
stuff.
with the shoes that they're actually going to be wearing was really important. So I was like, all right, we're going to do the same thing for 20 minutes, which is like a lot when the actual show is not that long. So they got used to it, and then if they wanted to come back out and practice on their own, they totally could.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is one of the next things that you got coming up?
Yeah.
You got another show coming up, or like what are you preparing for right now?
So right now I'm preparing to do interviews at New York Fashion Week. If I get cast to walk for any designers out there, great, I'll do that. But I'm more excited about doing those interviews and talking to different people. For Swim Week Las Vegas, I was able to talk with so many different individuals backstage, and some of those people were people I'd been following on Instagram for a long time, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I get to like talk to you now. This is really cool.
Yeah.
And I really loved covering the event. So I think doing more like red carpet interviews, doing live event coverage, or maybe not live, but doing interviews at those events is going to be how I move forward.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you're really good at that. Like, we've had you on camera. We've had her interview a couple people already for, like, when we were doing this stuff with Arizona Fashion Week. So you're just a natural at it. So I'm looking forward to seeing, like, when, I mean, the next big one comes up and you're, like, having all these videos out.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks. I am just like really lucky that I have George because we are a good video interviewer duo, and then we edit together and just like crank out that content.
Right?
Yeah.
How's that content for you? Like, I mean, it's pretty important for what you do. Like, how do you do you have like a structure to it, or how do you do all your socials?
Ooh, I don't have a really like solid like structure answer to give you. I kind of post when I feel like it. I try to stay consistent, but sometimes I fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
It depends on.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, if I have something I'm required to post, like if I do a brand collaboration and they're like, you have to post within like 10 days of like receiving the product and like have all of these videos approved, then I have to adhere to that schedule. But if it's just like fun content I'm making like for myself, or just like I'm posting like a trend video, I'll just kind of drop that whenever I want. I used to be like, I have to post 3 times a week, and that got exhausting. So now I just kind of do it when I feel like it.
Cool. I mean, so like last things is where can people find you? Like how can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, or you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @AshleySierraOfficial, and you can find my videos there. Check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, anything you guys want to?
There is like one more thing I want to talk about. So like as a model and as someone who's coached younger models, I think that it's really important as you're navigating the fashion industry to always stay safe, to always be making sure that someone knows where you're going. Even if you're just going to a photo shoot with a couple of friends, make sure that someone you know knows where you're going. Safety is so important, and unfortunately in this industry, there are some people who want to abuse positions of power. You always have to advocate for yourself. You never have to wear something you don't want to. And if you need to leave set, you leave set. It doesn't matter if someone threatens to ruin your reputation, or if they say you're not gonna get booked for any jobs, I'm gonna tell people you're X, Y, and Z. Your safety matters so much more. And so that's something I would wanna say to aspiring models is stay safe, stay smart, and stay resilient. Go after your dreams, but don't ever jeopardize your own personal safety.
Oh, that's amazing. So many people need to hear that for sure. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's awesome hearing your story, everything that you've been a part of. So
thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here.